Okay, ready?
5 seconds before the performance.
Places, everybody.
Welcome to Theatre First with Alex First.
Pierre Anthon is a massive thorn in the backside of his classmates in Year 9. Just one utterance changed their perspective of the world, and now they're out to prove him wrong, and they'll stop at nothing to do so. Anthon, who we never meet, says nothing matters. And even as a youngster, he said he's known that for some time. The concept is you're here today and gone tomorrow. So whatever you do or say matters naught. The world has been the world for billions of years, so each one of us is but a blip. Anthon's curveball catches out all his classmates, who've literally just started the school year. It's devastating. They band together because they recognise it's important for each of them to amount to something. They want to prove to Anthon that some things do matter. They figure the best way to achieve that is to each give up something that's meaningful to them, and thereby create a pile of meaning. Favourite books, a fishing rod, shoes, even a pet hamster are thrown into the mix. But what starts out in relatively mild form becomes increasingly dangerous. The sacrifices become morbid, and they still might not be enough to satisfy Anthon, who's clambered up a plum tree and simply refuses to come down. A cohort even threw rocks at him, but that wasn't enough. Now, 8 years later, these same 5 classmates have reassembled to reflect on what happened at the time. So, the story unfolds in 2 time frames, most of it in flashback. The quintet is dressed in school uniform, beige shorts, white shirts, white socks with a black band, and white runners. Only blazers separate the then from the now. Nothing at 45 Downstairs in Melbourne is the Australian premiere of the internationally acclaimed Danish novel by Janne Teller, adapted by Fleur Murphy. At its core is existential angst. There's a deliberate vagueness at the start as we, the audience, try to figure out just what's going on when these 5 young adults get together. And then there's the build-up to what becomes the truly bizarre. I must say I started to tire of the descriptions of the items gifted by the children, which is the lifeblood of the story. I found the build-up excruciating. Don't get me wrong, there are moments of high tension, but not enough to sustain my interest. I wanted more. I craved for more. I found myself clock-watching, shifting uncomfortably in my seat. And it's not a long play, about 80 minutes. But as far as I'm concerned, it could readily have been cut back. And I accept that would have meant clipping the author's words. All I can add is that while I haven't read the book, I merely arrived at that judgment based upon what I saw in a theatrical space. The acting was sound. The 5 actors, Lawrence Young, Eddie Patterson, Rebecca Makar, Jessica Martin and Connor James, delivered their lines with aplomb, and they interacted well with one another. So I'm not calling that into question. Movement supervisor Cassandra Gray has done a good job with them. I was also impressed by the set design. A large, sinewy tree dominates, with stumps either side of the stage. Corinne Larsh was responsible for both set and costumes. To summarise, conceptually the play was sound, but in reality I struggled with parts of it. Nothing, directed by Alfonso Pineda, is playing at 45 Downstairs in Melbourne until the 13th of March 2022.
You've been listening to Theatre First with Alex First. Available at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or your favourite podcast player. You can also stream on demand at Bytes.com.
This has been another quality podcast production from Bytes.com.